Welcome to this Easy Spreadsheets for Life video tutorial. In this video, I will explain everything you need to know to get started with your annual habit tracker spreadsheet. This tutorial applies to our annual habit tracker series, which includes the annual habit tracker, the annual habit tracker plus, and the annual habit tracker premium. The annual habit tracker has 16 tabs, which includes Start Here with all instructions, an example tab, a habit planner where you'll plan your habit goals, a dashboard for an annual overall view, and then 12 monthly habit tracker tabs. The annual habit tracker plus has 17 tabs, and this includes all tabs mentioned previously, plus the goal tracker. And the annual habit tracker premium has 18 tabs, including all tabs from the plus, along with a task tracker. So in this video, I will go through the annual habit tracker premium because it includes all tabs. So no matter which spreadsheet you purchased, you'll learn about every tab in your spreadsheet. So first, let's go over the Start Here tab. At the top, there are links for contacting us, this tutorial video, the tips and tricks page on our site, as well as a link to a list of frequently asked questions. And then just above the buttons, you'll find this setup table in your spreadsheet, where you'll need to enter the tracking year. So I'm going to enter the current year, which is 2024. Just below the buttons, there are links to each tab in your spreadsheet. So you can either click on one of these links to a specific tab, or you can also find the tabs here at the bottom and then click on any one of these. Next is an important Read First section. We highly recommend making a copy of your spreadsheet before you enter any data, and this will give you an unused original version that you can copy from if you ever happen to delete or break any formulas. If you don't make a copy, or maybe you can't find the copy you made, you can always go back to your Etsy account and download the file again. So just be sure to read through these points before you start using your spreadsheet so you can avoid certain issues later on. As we continue to scroll down, we've included a table with jump links to each tab's instructions on this page. So you would just click on any one of these cells and then click the link, and you'll be taken directly to the instructions for that particular tab. And then after that, we get to the individual instruction sections for each tab. And you can feel free to read through each of these if you like, but I will be going over each tab in detail, so you'll know exactly how to use your new spreadsheet. All right, let's briefly go over the example tab. This tab is just a non-functioning example of what your habit tracker will look like as you fill things in. And you can also learn more details about various sections by hovering your cursor over any cell that has this little black triangle in the upper right corner. This is a very helpful feature when you want to know more details about specific sections of the spreadsheet, such as here you just hover over the cell and a note box will pop up and you'll find these little black triangles in various parts of the example tab. Okay, let's go to the planner tab. And I'm just going to change the view so we can see more of the screen. Okay, the Planner tab is where you will enter all of your daily, weekly, and monthly habit goals for each month of the selected year. This will help you streamline your entries for each monthly tab, so you don't have to enter your habits and goals every time you start a new monthly tracker. So first you'll enter the date you want to start tracking your habits up here in the top left. If you enter a date that is outside of the selected year, for example, I had entered the year as 2024. So let me enter a date in 2025, and you'll see that the cell turns red. And this is just to let you know that this date is outside of this year and needs to be corrected. So for this example, I am going to enter the date as September 15th of 2024. So as you can see, the cell where you enter your start date has a white background, and then the cell just below it has a colored background. And you'll see this throughout your spreadsheet, where some cells are plain white and others are colored. The colored cells have formulas in them and should not be edited. And the white cells are where you will make your entries. But don't worry about accidentally deleting or editing a formula cell, because the spreadsheets are protected. And if you type into a colored cell, you will see a warning message that will either allow you to back out or move forward with editing the cell. For example, if I try to type into this cell here, I'll get this warning message, and I could just hit cancel to back out, and the change was not made. Okay, so first you'll start with your daily habits. And I've already added a short list of daily habits here. You would just list them, all the habits that you want to track every month in this column. And you can add up to 30 daily habits. As you can see, January through August has this dash up here instead of these days left over here on the right. And this is because I had entered my start date in the month of September. So all months before September will just have a dash up here instead of a number. Also, if you accidentally type a value in any of these months before the start date, for example, let's say I click into May and I enter a number, it is going to turn gray, and the value will not be included in the total here at the bottom or the annual totals over here on the right. So we just added this extra feature in case you make entries where you weren't supposed to, and you can immediately identify them. You'll also find the number of days left in a given month up here at the top, just under the month. So today is actually November 20th. So you can see that September and October have 0 days left because they are in the past. And November currently has 10 days left in the month because today is November 20th. So from the starting month, which here is September, you'll just go across each habits row and enter the goal number that you want to reach for habit completions. For example, with this first habit, you can see the values across the row, each one representing my goal for that month. So in September, my goal is to complete this habit of walking my dog 24 times in the month of September. And for the month of October, my goal is to walk my dog 25 times, etc. So if there are daily habits that perhaps you don't want to practice in certain months, you can either leave that field blank or enter a 0. So for example, I didn't enter a goal here for this journal habit in the month of September, and we'll just see how that shows up later in the monthly tabs. So I've already entered these examples here, but I'll just enter one more so you can get a visual of how to enter them. So once you've filled in your daily habits and the goals, you'll just scroll down and fill in habits in the weekly habit target table, along with your weekly habit goals. And again, you'll see here in the weekly habits table, all columns for months that come before the start date will automatically be grayed out. And any amounts listed or any of these boxes that are checked in the grayed out columns will not be included in the totals. So you'll just list the habits over here in the left column, and then under each month that isn't grayed out, you'll check which weeks that you want to complete a specific habit. So you can go through each month's column individually, or you can just highlight the cells and you can paste them. It's up to you. If you do not want a target goal for any habit during any given month, then you would just leave all the boxes blank, like I've left up here for this first habit of do laundry. I do not have any boxes checked for September. And again, I'll show you how this shows up in the monthly tabs later. If you want to check several boxes at once, all you have to do is highlight the cells and then press the space bar. So for example, if I click on this cell and I hold down the shift key and then I click on this cell, all I have to do is press my space bar to select all boxes, but it's also a toggle switch, so if I press it again, all boxes will be unchecked. Scrolling down, we come to the monthly habit targets table, and once again, all columns for months before the start date are grayed out, just so you don't accidentally start checking in boxes that you don't want to. And then any values entered in any of these grayed out columns will not be included in the totals. Here, you'll just check which months you want to complete the habits you list over here on the left. So all three tables will auto-calculate sums for each month here at the bottom of the table, and also totals for the year over here in the rightmost column. At the top, you'll find a bar graph that compares your daily habit goals along with an average across all of the months. All of the habits that have been listed in the planner, along with the goals entered for each one, will auto-populate in each monthly tab if that month falls on or after the start date that we entered up here. Of course, if you only want to track daily or just weekly or monthly, then that is up to you. Each section is independent and does not rely on another to function properly. And just know that you can always come back to the Planner tab to add more habits or change your goals. Just keep in mind that your entries on this tab will auto-populate in all 12 monthly tabs. Okay, let's jump over to one of the monthly tabs so we can see how our planner entries show up. And since I entered my start date in September, I will go to the September tab. So first we see all of the habits that were listed in the Planner tab here in this Daily Habits section, as well as your target goals over here on the right in the Monthly Progress table. And you can see that this journal habit is grayed out because that's the one I had deleted the target goal. So the habit will be grayed out along with its entire row, just so you know that you did not want to have a target for this goal in September. And even if you accidentally started checking some of these boxes, they would not be added to the totals. So all you need to do to track your daily habits is simply check a box for each date that you complete a certain habit throughout the month. The target goals you entered in the Planner tab will show up over here in the Progress table. And as you check off boxes throughout the month, you can review your progress percentage here in the middle, and then you can see how many you've completed out of your target goal here on the right. If you accidentally entered a target goal that is higher than the number of days in the selected month, the spreadsheet will still limit your target to the number of days in the month. For example, if I go back to the planner and I enter a target of, let's say, 35 for this first habit in September, and then I go back to the September tab, I can see that the spreadsheet has automatically limited my target to the number of days in September. And this is just another added feature that prevents calculation issues due to user error. There is a circle graph up here that reflects a breakdown of your daily habit completions. This number, 124, is the total of all of your target goals for your daily habits. So basically, it's just the sum of this target column right here. And then these progress bars reflect the percentage of your daily goal target that you've reached each day. And I will go over the daily goal target feature in just a little bit. First, I'll go ahead and check some boxes for the habit that I added in the Planner tab so you can see how it all works together. And just a helpful tip, you can either click in each box with your mouse, like this, or you could use the arrows on your keyboard to move around and then just press the space bar to check a box. Now, as we scroll down, we'll find the Daily Habit Stats table, which gives you some totals and percentages for your daily habits. You would just click this down arrow to see a graph for each of your daily habits, or you could select all to see those totals. And then right below that is the daily goal target, which is the number of habits that you aim to complete each day in order to reach that total target number that I mentioned earlier. Again, it's the sum of this target column up here, which you'll also see here in the total progress field, this number 124. The spreadsheet will automatically calculate this number for you, and it simply takes your total target number and it calculates the average number of habits that you need to complete every day in order to achieve this total target goal by the end of the month. In other words, if I achieve my daily total target goal every day, I will have completed my total target goal of 124 completions by the end of the month. So I simply created this feature so you could see the average of how many habits you would need to complete each day to reach your total target goal, and then give you an automated option that will result in you reaching your goal. But if you don't want to follow this automated recommendation, you can simply click into any cell and hit the delete or the backspace button and enter your own personalized target goal for that day. As you can see, you didn't get a warning message, even though this is a colored cell, and that's because you have the option to edit these cells. So just keep in mind that you will be deleting a formula whenever you make a change to any colored cell, and this is why having a blank copy and a master template is important. So you can always begin with a spreadsheet that has all formulas intact. Now, let's just briefly go back to the daily habit stats table, where you can also see your total number of habits completed so far for the month and the number still incomplete. And then this table across here simply breaks those numbers down into daily numbers. This area graph here in the middle is a visual representation of the total number of habits you've completed each day. And just below that is a percentage bar to see your weekly progress of your daily habits. And then the last feature I want to show you in this daily habits section is this list over here on the right, which just shows you your top 10 best kept habits so far. All right, next we'll scroll down to the weekly habits section. All weekly habits from the planner tab that have at least 1 week checked for the month will be automatically listed here in this column. So if you remember, I had left all boxes unchecked for this first habit in September. So I won't see it listed, and any checks in this top row will not be included in the totals. Also, in each weekly column, only those habits that were checked for the specific week will be listed. For example, here in week 2, I did not check for my washing the car habit, so it's just a dash here. And this way you can know exactly which goals you need to focus on for each week. As you complete your weekly habits, you'll just check off these boxes. And then here at the bottom, you'll see an updated count and percentage. And if you accidentally check any box next to a dash, then those will not be counted in the totals. For example, here I count a total of, let's see, 5 habits, and I've completed 4. So even if I clicked this box here next to the dash, it will not be included in this completed total. And over here to the left is a graph similar to the daily habits section, where you can click this down arrow and see your stats on each of your weekly habits. Or you can just click all to see those totals. And then down here, you see some important totals for your weekly habits. Then below that, you'll find the monthly habits section. Only those monthly habits you checked in the planner tab for the selected month will show up in this table. So here we see that this second habit here was not selected for the month of September, so it just has a dash. And it also will not be included in these totals. So you simply check off your monthly habits as they're completed, and then this circle graph will give you a breakdown and some totals. And then as an extra feature, I've added a couple of extra areas over here where you can enter some goals and some notes for the month. And these are purely text fields. There are no calculations connected to these two areas. Okay, just a couple of helpful tips as we wrap up this section. The daily habit tracker allows you to track up to 30 daily habits, but if you don't have that many and you want to reduce the workspace, you can hide the rows that you're not using. All you do is simply click on the top row that you want to hide, hold down the Shift key, and then click on the last row that you want to hide. Once all of the rows are highlighted, you would right-click and then you would select Hide Rows. So the rows are not deleted, they're just hidden. All you have to do is go over to the row numbers. You can't see it on the screen, but you'll see a little black triangle on one of the row numbers, and you just click the triangle and all of the rows come back. And secondly, when you have completed an entire month of tracking, you can hide that month's tab if you don't want to see it anymore. You would just click the down arrow of the tab that you want to hide, and then select Hide Sheet. And this just cleans up your workspace a little so it's not so cluttered. And again, the tab hasn't gone anywhere, it's just hidden from view. So to unhide the tab, you would just go up to View, Hidden Sheets, and then show the tab that you've hidden. And then it'll reappear. And that is how you use the habit tracker. All of the monthly tabs work the same. So next, let's take a look at the dashboard. The annual habit dashboard gives you an overall view of your annual progress with your daily, weekly, and monthly habits. So you'll find totals over here on the left, graphs to visualize your progress here in the middle, and then your top 10s over here on the right. Scrolling down, you'll find summary tables for daily, weekly, and monthly habits, which tells you how many times you've completed a goal out of its monthly target goal. For any cell where you find just a dash, those are months that are previous to the start date, so there's no data in these months. If you see a fraction, like, let's see, this one here, 0 out of 0, that just means you did not set a target goal for that habit in that month. The dashboard is just a great way to get a big picture view of your habits and how well you're doing across the months. Okay, next we'll look at the goal tracker, which is included in the Annual Habit Tracker Plus and Annual Habit Tracker Premium. You can plan up to 10 goals on the goal tracker. Each goal has its own dedicated section, and all you do is enter the name of the goal, and then down here you're going to fill in some details about the goal. So for this example, I have already entered as my big goal to go on vacation. So I know this is broad and not specific, but I'm going to break this big goal down when I add the details down here. So the first section is called My Why, which is your motivation for setting and achieving this goal. Knowing your motivation for wanting to reach a specific goal will give you an emotional connection to it, which really helps you remember the deeper purpose for achieving it when you may lack focus or willpower. So here, my why is to make fun memories and have new experiences as a family. So you would just click in this field and add whatever is meaningful to you and that you have an emotional connection to. Next, you'll want to break down your big goal into 3 smaller achievements, which are called milestones. So these would be more like short-term goals that will help you achieve your big goal, like smaller components that you can break down into steps. So for this example, I added 3 milestones to get time off work, save $10,000, and then make a vacation budget. Each of these milestones will help me achieve my big goal of going on vacation. Next, there is space for up to 5 action steps for each milestone. And this is just breaking down the big goal into even smaller steps, because achieving goals really comes down to taking the right small steps consistently over time. And with each task, you have the option to give it a due date if it's relevant. So I've already added tasks for each of my milestones, along with a few due dates over here. And you'll see a couple of dates that have this light red background color. And this just tells you that the date has already passed. So once I've completed a task, I can just click in its checkbox to show that I've completed it. And these checkboxes will generate the results shown here in this circle graph, which I can access with that down arrow and select the graph that I want to review. And I can quickly see how many I've completed and how many I have left to complete. Next, having something to measure towards your goal is important to see actual and accurate progress. So I've included this metric tracker table just below for each individual goal. So you pick the metric you want to track and enter that into this field. So here I'm going to enter vacation fund balance as my metric to track. Now every month is automatically listed over here in this first column, and you can just start on the row that has the month you're starting on, or you can just delete the months and enter the month that you're beginning. You could also choose to change the time period you want to track, like week 1 or quarter 1, etc. It's up to you. It's just important to keep the time periods the same so you're comparing metrics accurately. So here I'll start tracking my metric in November by entering the balance on November 1st. Then I would enter the balance on the last day of November. The spreadsheet will automatically calculate the difference in amount and percentage. So just be sure to not enter any symbols such as like a currency symbol or measurement abbreviations, etc. Only a number so the spreadsheet can do the calculations for you. And then here on the end is a notes section where you can write what worked well, what didn't, what you need to improve or continue, etc. And then there's just one last feature I want to point out. Because each goal takes up a significant amount of space on the spreadsheet, I added a search box over here in the top left. All you need to do is just click on the down arrow and select the goal you want to jump to. So I'm going to click Learn Piano. I'll click Go to Goal and then click on the link and it'll take me straight to that goal. So that is how you set and plan each goal, and there are sections for up to 10 different goals on this tab. All right, let's move on to the task tracker, which is included with the Habit Tracker Premium. You can track up to 30 tasks with the task tracker. First, you just enter your preferred currency up here in the upper left, and I've already entered the dollar. Then you'll list the categories that you want to include, and I've already added a few here. So these are just categories such as home, school, work, etc. Whatever fits with your life and is a good way to organize your tasks. And then you'll create a list of names that are connected to your tasks. And these are names that you can assign tasks to, and I've already added a few here. And once you have those 2 data tables complete, then you can start tracking. In the tasks details table, just enter the name of the task, any details that you want to add about the task, select who you want to assign the task to, the priority level of the task, the category, the status, the start date, the due date, any budgeted amount to complete the task, and then later you can optionally add the actual amount you spent on the task. And then this total days here is automatically calculated for you. You can see it has a colored background, so you won't type anything in there. And then at the end, you can check this box once the task is complete, but that is optional. Once the task details table starts to get filled out, you'll see this bar chart up here at the top, which is a breakdown of your tasks by current status. And then just to the right of that are some totals that serve as a quick reference so you can stay on track. All right, we have come to the end of this tutorial, and I hope it's been helpful for you. But if you still have questions, you can go back to the Start Here tab and then choose one of the links at the top. There's a few different ways you can find additional support, including the FAQ and tips and tricks page on our website, as well as contacting us directly through our Etsy shop. Thank you again for choosing Easy Spreadsheets for Life, and I wish you all the best in your personal goals.